Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Rich Lowry, the editor of the National Review. Rich, great to have you on this morning. How are you, my friend?
Good, Sid. I was just yesterday talking about your favorite topic, you.
Yeah.
I was on the set of Kudlow, and after it was over, I was on with Joe Concha, and of course they're both WABC colleagues of yours. So I was saying, you know who's good at radio, great at radio? Sid Rosenberg. And I think Larry says he goes on pretty often. Like, does Larry?
Yeah, he was just on last week. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. But congratulations. It feels like this anniversary has been running for a month.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I used to make fun of my wife and kids because their birthdays would be like a month long.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing. You're 100% right. But I promise it's over on Friday. That's it. Okay, Friday. That's it.
Yeah. Another well-deserved congratulations.
Thank you, Rich. You've been,
as you know, I'm not just I just don't come on with you. I listen. So I'm in a whole different category.
That's true. I've received, and I love that about you. I really love that when my guests, big names, like you're a huge name, when they actually listen. And Rich has texted me a bunch of times during certain interviews and conversations and chimed in or said, wow, I love that. I'm still sitting in the car. So I do love that. Thank you for being not just a huge personality on this show, but as you say, a listener as well. Like Cy Sperling, I guess he was also a client, not just the owner. Let's get to the big story. It is Minnesota. Trump was on with me yesterday. I spoke to Fry. I spoke to Walls. We had great conversations. You know, he's saying nice things about everybody these days. I just had this conversation with Randa Devine, whether it's Jacob Fry or Tim Walls or Mamdani. That's also been quoted, his quote on my show in the Post and the Daily News yesterday. All these people who I think are bad people. I know they're bad people. Trump is people. Right, and Trump is finding a way to say nice things about them. Why?
I think he's probably looking for a way to declare victory and go home, or if not go home, declare victory and ease up, because he's a hardliner on immigration, but also has a very sensitive political antenna. And Bondi and the others were way out on a maximalist position on this latest shooting that he wasn't comfortable with. And you mean
when they said, and he's right about that. I agree with Trump in that. Calling Petty, for example, a domestic terrorist. Yeah. Kristi Noem did that. That's a bit much, yes?
Totally. He wasn't a domestic terrorist. All you have to say in that situation is, look, it was a chaotic scene. He's armed. The agents apparently feared for their life, and will investigate and find out more. That's what Homan said about the first one. That's what Homan said about today. This one, that's because Homan's a pro, and I think it's a good thing that he's sending him to Minneapolis. I just think Noem. I don't think she's good at this job, and I think these statements have made it so much worse. You know, there are dozens, I don't know how many, hundreds maybe, headlines around the country. Video contradicts official account because of what she said. She did that, and all those headlines are accurate. So I think that hasn't been a good show, and I think Trump realizes it, and he's trying to react accordingly. The problem with these guys, Waltz and Fry, is now there's blood in the water, no pun intended. So they think they have Trump on the ropes, and Fry at least has every incentive to say, no, screw you, I want you to leave. You know,
he already did,
and he may still win. And this is a de facto act of nullification by the city and the state. It's outrageous.
He already did. I believe at about, according to Mark Levin, about 6 o'clock last night. Fry came out and said, we want him out of here. We want ICE out of here. Doesn't matter. My phone call with Trump was nice. And so, yes, they've already done that. So Trump's nice. And, you know, like Mamdani, he continues to criticize Trump, calls his administration evil. And on this show yesterday, he said he's got a great personality. So, you know, maybe you're right. I think Miranda Devine said, look, he's also looking towards the midterms. And right now, it does not look good for us. When I say us, I mean me. I'm sorry, Rich. Yeah. The Republicans. And these independents, and I got a buddy, his name is Terrence Mullen. He's a great guy. He's Chris Mullen's brother. You know Chris Mullen. And he's part owner of a place called Callie's in our neighborhood, Lewis. He would always say to me, when you talk to the president, tell him to be nice. I go, no, I'm not going to tell him to be nice. President Trump is at his best when President Trump is President Trump. What do you mean, be nice? They try to kill this guy, you know what I mean? He goes, I know, but the independents want him to be nice. So I think Trump may be listening to Terrence, doesn't know him, but and maybe that's part of the reason why all of a sudden he's Mr. Nice Guy, because, you know, these midterms are right around the corner, and Trump knows history is not kind to a Republican president the year after anyway, and maybe he thinks nice will get the win.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever, we've had this conversation many, many times. I think he should be nicer in the sense of just showing his warm side more in public. But big elections aren't really decided about that kind of thing. It's going to be the economy overwhelmingly, and then there'll be other things. Immigration might be up there. And I think on immigration, what they've been trying to do kind of makes sense. Like you get threatening-looking guys, and look, I support ICE. I think all illegal immigrants should go. But threatening-looking guys in military vests, raiding houses, to send the message to every illegal immigrant in the country, you know what? You don't want that to happen to you. Just go home. Just go home. And they've been successful in that, the self-deportation. But the problem is, it's not just illegal immigrants that see this. It's everyone else. And even though we support it and understand why it's happening, there are a lot of other people, no, I don't like that. It's not nice, to use your friend's word. So the immigration was one of his strengths, and that now is getting underwater on that too.
I feel like there are some Republicans out there also that are getting squeamish, that are getting a little weak in the legs. I don't like that. I'm Trump all the way, no matter what. I agree with about 99% of the stuff he does anyway, about 99%. And I'm not afraid to call him out when I disagree. It's very, very rare. But I'll never really get tough on him, if you will. Starting to feel like some Republicans are getting weak in the legs, Rich.
Yeah, my understanding, like the average elected Republican in Washington, Senate, House, even when they don't like something that's going on, and a lot of them don't like what's been going on in Minneapolis, they don't really blame Trump. It's they blame people around him. They'll say Stephen Miller's out of control or whatever. But one, they really like Trump because, as anyone who's had any personal interaction knows, he's great. He's great to be around. It's easy to like him. And two, they know Trump is up for grabs. So Stephen, and I've known Stephen for years. I think he's a brilliant guy. But Stephen's not changing on stuff, right? He's very dug in. He's ideological. Whereas Trump, you can convince them, or the politics can change him. So we've seen that here in Minneapolis, where, again, you had a lot of people out with a maximalist position after the second shooting, and then it was Trump who said, let's investigate it, and maybe let's talk to these people, Waltz and Fry.
The resume for Trump this time around is, a lot of it is stuff that's outside the country, obviously. He talked a lot about this with me yesterday. If you heard Trump on with me, he was on for 22 minutes. He's great to me. And he talked a lot about the 8 world conflicts that he has solved. And he's very, very confident that he's moments away from solving the big one, which is, of course, Ukraine, Russia. He said, I stopped wars that were going on for 35 years. People can't believe it. Even Putin, and he's got this border peace thing going in Davos now that may or may not work in conjunction with the UN, but at the very least, he's got leaders from other countries on board trying to fix stuff in Gaza and around the world. So I know that economy here is really what drives it, right? I mean, it's about the economy, stupid, right? That's what Carville said. But you look at the foreign policy, what he's done around the world so far in just over 1 year, I think you'd admit it's remarkable, no?
Yeah, no, it's been a remarkable year. But the big thing, no one's going to vote for him based on the Gaza deal, right? Or taking out Maduro or bombing Iran. That's sort of all ambient noise in terms of the election. It's the economy. It's whether Besant's right when he says this sucker is going to boom. It is booming, and people are going to feel it in their pocketbooks. If that happens, you'll take some of the edge off the sentiment that might be driving a Republican loss in the midterms. But if it doesn't happen, you're screwed. I think, as we've talked about before, I think they're losing the House regardless because the margin's so slender. Yeah, I do. I think it's like an 80% chance or something.
Wow.
If they had a 10 or 15 seat majority, you could say, okay, they got a shot. But a 2 or 3 seat majority in a midterm where you control the White House, that's really hard.
So, every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the pain points of wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.